Hi, I'm Carmelita Greco, and I'm here at Fenix Ammunition to talk with the owner, Justin Nazaroff, to learn a little bit more about his industry and how it relates to our Second Amendment rights. You specifically deal with ammunition.
Yeah.
And it's recycled ammunition?
Yeah, so about 80% of what we do is remanufactured ammunition where we are reusing a brass case that has been previously fired. It allows us to be cost competitive. We deal in large volumes, mostly to competitive shooters. Firearms is kind of an expensive hobby. I would say generally politicians and the general public, especially the anti-gun public, tends to believe that gun owners are rednecks and the lower middle class kind of folks. But some of the richest people that I know are people that I've met at competitive shooting matches.
Can you tell me how just in the last few months, how your business has expanded during the quarantine as well as the riots that are happening?
Yeah, there's really two things that are happening right now in society that are making people really reconsider their own personal safety and the safety of the people that they love and their neighbors. I think that's actually a very good thing. Much of what's happening is making people realize that as a community, we have to be able to protect each other, because with the COVID-19 pandemic situation, you had many police departments openly stating that they were not going to respond to minor property crimes because they didn't want a situation where they have a lot of officers sick and then they don't have the manpower to deal with real serious problems.
Right.
Ultimately, you're always responsible for yourself.
Right.
So a lot of people didn't grow up that way, but now they're thrust into this situation where they really don't have a choice. Maybe they've never considered being a gun owner, but they're married, they have kids, they have people that they love that they need to protect, and they don't want it on their conscience if something happens and they don't have the tools they need to defend themselves and their loved ones, their neighbors. So we're seeing a huge number of first-time gun owners.
Just because we own a gun does not mean that we advocate for violence in any way. It's actually for protecting people.
I can tell you that if you're standing next to me at the grocery store, I'm definitely carrying a gun. And you would never know it. And I am your best friend right then and there, because the police are, even in a place like Novi, the police are 6-7 minutes away at best. They're going to do everything they can, but they can't be there in 15 seconds. And if you look at the types of shooting incidents that happen, they last 30 seconds or less. So the police will never be there in time to save you. But law-abiding gun owners are everywhere, and we're not interested in shooting anybody. I don't wake up in the morning and think to myself, today is the day where I get to shoot a bad guy. I hope that day never happens, but I know that that day may happen. And it may be my life that I save, it may be my wife's, it might be yours, it might be somebody who has voted Democrat for 40 years. But I promise you that in that instance, that person is not going to care anything about politics. They're going to care about their life and whether it was saved. I think people who are on the political left would be very surprised at how inviting those people will be, because ultimately we know that it's only a matter of time before it's going to click in your head and you'll understand why we think the way we think, and that we're not just a bunch of evil people who are looking for a reason to shoot somebody. We're brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, business owners, your next door neighbor. And we're as interested in seeing you take your own responsibility seriously as we are taking our own responsibility seriously.